let's see, start recording. Yeah, we're recording. Okay, this is the pattern I'm working on. It's called my hexagon project, and I'm going to add pieces on the edges right here. Okay, so let's see how I'm trying to keep my let's see. I don't know if that's gonna work. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. Is this supposed to go over my ears? Let me try this again. Hold on. Okay. Oops. It is untightening. Okay, let's try it again. Here we go. Okay, so let me get a piece, okay. Here we go, there's a piece right here. So we're going to pick this one. And this one is going to be, I have to remember how I do this all the time. Okay. Because I can easily forget. Okay, right sides together, like so. And then when I open it up, yeah, okay, so this is how we're doing this. We're going to place this end to end, like that. I'm going to get my tweezers, slide that under my presser foot. Try to get you a closer view. There's the X. And then I'm going to look for my foot. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to back stitch 1, 2, 3, and back to where I was at. Now I want to move my material over, and if you see this, you see how this is folding that way, or you want to open it, and not open it, but you want to take it and move it this way. So that seam should be facing you. Takes a lot of finagling, but it can be done. Okay, and these X's, or I call them crossroads. It's where you want to stop your needle at, this area here. So we did our back stitch, and now we're at the crossroads. We're going to back stitch, and that's done. I'll tap my presser foot, slide my material out, cut that. Okay, that part has been done. Now open this up so you can see. So open it up. Now I want to attach this hexagon shape to the green hexagon right below it. So you see where my 1/4 inch seam allowance is at? This one is going to fold automatically, so just bear that in mind. Match these corners. I like to use my tweezers to slide that in. Let me get a view so I can show you. X marks the spot right there. I'm going to tap my presser foot so the needle will go down. And now I'm going to take all this material. You have to move it around, get it out of the way. This pleat or this seam is already facing me, and that's what I want. Now I'm going to line it up, and I move my table over. I don't know why. Oops. What did I do there? Okay. Oh, I moved my whole table. I don't know how I did that. I couldn't find my 1/4 inch spot right there. I must have kicked it or something. Let me lift it up. When I moved that, I shifted all the material. Okay, we're all good now. Okay, so let's create 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, back stitch. 1, 2, 3. We're back where we started. We want to stop right at that cross, and my headphones are falling. It never fails. Okay, here we go again. There, we're back on track, I think. Okay, let's place that there. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go slowly. When we're at that crossroad, let me double check. I didn't lose my... Now we're going to back stitch, and we are there. Tap my presser foot, my foot control, and now we added the very first piece. I want to make sure I didn't stitch that, and it looked like that's why I say you gotta be careful you don't fold that stitch over, because look what happened. Gotta finagle that and open that up. There. Look at that. Look at all those 4 corners. Okay, so now it's lying now flat. Now the same piece that we added, we're going to flip it over, and it's going to look awkward, but we have to get this piece over here. And how you do that is you just pick it up, flip it over. The green hexagon now is the one that you're going to fold over in half. See those, how they nestle all in? That's what you want. You want those to nestle in. Once you get them all, I like to use my tweezers. I pinch everything, slide that right into the presser foot, drop my needle. I have completed that task. Now I'm going to line those pieces up, corner to corner. Start stitching 1, 2, 3, back stitch 1, 2, 3, and forward stitch. Stop at that crossroad, that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And trim this out. Okay, so we added we're going to go down now. We're actually at the side. I have been adding rows, but once you start adding the rows, it starts getting just elongated. You have to supplement pieces in here so it starts getting wider, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to look for my next piece. I have it right here. I have my 1/4 of an inch seam allowances. I'm going to take, let's see, where are we at? If I go this way, there we go. I'm going to take this piece, right sides together, corner to corner. I'm going to slide that right under the presser foot. I'm right at that crossroads, drop my needle. You notice all the seam allowances are open at that crossroad. And now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, back stitch 1, 2, 3, forward stitch, and I'm going to stop right at that crossroad. That's what I call it. That's not what the correct thing. It's actually just a seam allowance. But that's the only way I can show you. So that has been done. Now you want to flip it over to make sure that you did that correctly and the pieces match up beautifully. Now this piece has to be added to that hexagon. So you flip it over and this automatically wants to fold in half. You notice there's 1, 2, 3 points. That's what you want to see. Pick up your points, slide it right under there, and I'm right at that money maker. Drop it. I want to make sure this seam is facing, laying flat. It fits in there. You look at it and you say, that's not going to fit, but it will fit. 1, 2, 3, back stitch. 1, 2, 3, forward stitch. You want to stop right at that cross, right there, at that seam allowance, back stitch. Oops, I made a boo-boo. I didn't back stitch. So now your seam ripper is going to be your friend throughout this whole process, because things like this happen. Okay, so I'm opening that up. Slide that right back down. I'm going to drop my needle right down there. Drop it right at that seam. And go slowly back stitch. There we go. Pick up my needle. Trim that. We're not finished yet. I keep turning it over because I want to see if the hexagons are matching up. Now this piece that we added has to be placed on this hexagon. And I know it looks very odd, but you have to turn it around like so. Remember, now this piece becomes the fold. Those 3 little points are going to match up beautifully. Get my tweezers, slide my material right underneath there. There's my X, or the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to drop my needle so I don't lose that place. Match these 2 corners together. Move them over. You don't want, everything has to be precise, by the way. I'm just letting you know. 1, 2, 3, stop, back stitch. 1, 2, 3, forward stitch. Be prepared to back stitch, and that has been done. Trim that out. I'm going to open it up and see how everything's looking. Remember, this is the side. These are not the rolls. I'm adding these pieces because when I do the roll, I'm going to have to add another piece. It's not as complicated as I make it seem. It is not complicated whatsoever. So now, let's see, we've got those pretty pieces. I'm looking for one that I've already, a piece that I've already added the seam allowances. Let's see, my cartons keep falling down. Let's see. See these, I call them crossroads, but they're not. They're seam allowances. So this seam allowance is 1/4 inch, this seam allowance is 1/4 inch, this seam allowance. All these sides are going to be added to this mini quilt that I'm creating. So you start at this point, like that's what I've been doing. I stitch about 4 to 3 stitches, then I back stitch, and then I forward stitch, and I stop. I call this the crossroad, but it's actually just the seam allowances, but that's the only way I can explain it. And then I'll stop there, back stitch, and then I'll cut my thread. So let me add this piece. Let me move everything out of the way. Okay, so we want to, again, we're increasing the side, and we're doing this with individual pieces. When I create the rolls, that is a different technique, and this is how I'm creating this beautiful little panel. I love the way this looks. I did not expect this to turn out like this, because it is the first time I have ever sewn hexagon, and I learned by watching a lot of people on YouTube. So let's keep going. So you see this is the side. Every time you add a row, it's going to always look like that. So in order for you to compensate and make this quilt larger, you have to add pieces like I'm doing now. So this piece is going to be inserted right here. So here are my points. Get my tweezers. Slide that in, making sure that it's, you can use pins if you want to. I prefer doing it this way. I drop my needle position down. I'm looking for that X. I'm going to tap my foot control. I'm going to look underneath to make sure that that seam is facing me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and forward, and then I want to stop what I call the crossroad. But again, it is just the seam allowance. You don't want to pass that seam allowance because that's how you put those pieces together. If you were to sew all the way across, you wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. So see that intersection, that crossroad? It's going to overlap like this, giving you that 3 points is what I call it. And that's not the terminology for it, but that's what I'm calling the 3 points. So now I'm going to hold that with my tweezers, slide my material over inside, look for my cross, drop my needle down with my foot control. Again, I want to stitch 1, 2, 3, back stitch, 1, 2, 3, forward. I want to go slowly. It's the only way. And here is that intersection. These pieces are open, so you can add that right there. 1, 2, 3, back stitch, and we are closed. Pick up my needle and my foot control presser foot. I always flip them over just to make sure. Now this piece that I just added is going to cross with the blue piece, and I know you look like it doesn't want to work, but it does. You just have to take that piece, turn it around, keep moving it. It's very awkward, I know, but it is something I'm so excited I learned on YouTube. I don't take the credit for this pattern whatsoever. I didn't read a book. It was nothing like that. I just watched the video over and over and over again. So I'm going to match those corners. Overlapped it just a wee bit, but oh, that's why I folded over. That's why it didn't fit. Okay. See, if you don't fold these over and point to point, they won't fit. So they must be all point to point. So where's that cross? Drop my needle. Once I drop my needle, it's okay. I can let go of everything. Okay. Stitch 1, 2, 3, back stitch 1, 2, 3, forward stitch. Make sure that those points are right on that precise there. Back stitch, and that's been done. Scissors, and flip that over. That piece has been added. This way, that way, and that way. Now I need to add a piece right here. And what else? And I will add a piece here. I forgot to add a piece here. That would extend the row to 8 pieces. Okay, but we'll do that in a minute. So I'm just looking at a pattern and seeing what it is that I have under here. What do I want to add? What do I want to add? Let me see. As you can see, I'm just randomly picking hexagons, but the main thing is they have colors that are matching. they have the orange, they have the turquoise, they have the violets, they have the greens, or the green